What's going on, guys and gals? Can you not be so rambunctious? I'm not rambunctious. I'm just so fucking happy. I love it. I'm loving life. I'm loving life so much that you're here. So, I'm gonna read something to you. I don't know why I'm reading this, but I'm gonna fucking read it, okay? The whisper was always seen as what it was to another. It first attached itself on Dove when he escaped from the other realm. Then the whisper attached to the Forgotten King. Therefore it appeared as he. What is known about the whisper is it is not what one sees before him. It's not the eyes that look on you. It lies behind whatever it attaches unto. So again, when we hear about Dove in the story of Tan, yes, that is indeed Dove. But what drives him is the whisper, for the whisper is fear. Its first name was the Promise. Now, this could have been because the Titans found fear for the Anaku, and it was their sacred promise to them in order for the Anaku to grow and question of what was wicked because of Dove. Or it could have gotten its name because of how it grows on one. The person is approached by it, and they are then secluded by it and seduced until they fall for whatever game it played in order to gain the participants' trust. Then it makes a promise to aid this person in whatever task it chose in their hearts. This tick, this virus, has brought down Titans, Kilsians, Alkians, the Forgotten King, Quirtus, Quinlan, and countless others. It is the invisible virus that can spread amongst the population that is totally unaware. As for its purpose, it is clear that the creature, if one could call it that, is only growing as it should. It is living its life cycle naturally. When the Titans found it, they pulled from the realm of creation, and they were warned previously not to by the Creator. I don't remember that happening. It was a tool created by him. And since the Creator disappeared, they felt that they had to act for him. One of the most interesting creatures, beings, or parts of this book has to be the Whisper. 1 minute we're talking about the Whisper as if we know the guy. The next minute we don't know what the fuck is going on with him. If you ask me right now, there was a time where I thought, oh, the Whisper, that's the bad guy. That's the evil one in the books. That's the evil. That's the devil, right? Then I was like, wait a minute. That quietly became Dove. Is Dove the Whisper? And I didn't know how to handle that. I was like, I don't know. And then it was like, well, maybe the Whisper is the Forgotten King. This is a long time ago. And I thought he was. I thought the Whisper was the Forgotten King. And then he wasn't. And it was always really hard to nail down who the Whisper is. Now, again, the Whisper is... We call it the Whisper because that is how it comes to you. Some say it comes through a song. Some say it comes through the whisper in your head. And that whisper is an invitation. Now this has come through many years of lore. And the whisper is this element that has evolved throughout the many, many years, okay? So I'm not gonna tell you the chronological order of the lore. I'm gonna muse as much as I possibly can off the top of my head. Now, the whisper, as said previously, is an embodiment. It is not necessarily a being altogether. It is a sensation. It is a feeling. It is an emotion. Now, the emotion that it represents mostly is fear. So this whisper, as it comes to you as a whisper, in the state of need, it is a tool, you could see it as. It's not a good thing. It's horrible. But it's a tool nonetheless. And in that, the tool will guide you and give you whatever it is you're seeking, right? Because the second name for this entity is the Promise. For it will promise you whatever it is you seek. And generally, as I said before, if it is the embodiment of fear, it is seeking to, let's say it like this, it is seeking to take away your fear and replace in that spot itself. So you have a fear that's built inside of you as a human being. This thing wants to replace that fear and be your fear. So in that, what it will do is it will promise you. So we could think of like anxiety, right? We could think of someone having problems like that, or in a sense of you're having a really, really bad day, and you've been having a bad day for a long time, and you're kind of weakened by it, and you're numb to this horrible life you're living. And in that, you've kind of developed this attitude that everyone's against you, you know? Everyone's against you, you know? Like, everyone hates you, your people. Everyone hates whatever it is, you know? Like, you find a way to be a victim. It's basically a victim mentality. In that victim mentality, you seek to act out. And acting out is always in a negative sense. So when you're wanting to act out, it's always in a bad way. Crying for attention, seeking for justice, just the negative shit people do. You know, casting their demise on others. It's the worst parts of humanity. And there's not one single human being that has existed, ever will exist, and exists right now that doesn't do this. If they say they don't do this, they're a fucking liar, and you know they are. Everybody does this. They blame everyone else for their problems. So, in that sense, that's how it finds us. It finds us through our bullshit. When we're sitting here bitching about our fucking lives like it's the worst thing in the world, right? I know you do it, because I do it too, and there's no difference. So you look at the life, and it's always someone else's fault. It's not my fault. It's their fault. I'm the one that's right. They're the one that's wrong. Not me. It's all their problem. I've done nothing wrong. That's where it finds you. And it's called the promise, because while you're busy being a little fucking bitch like that, it'll say, as a whisper, or as a song, depends on what fucking culture you come from, it'll say, I can help you with whatever it is at that time. So you could say, I can help you feel better. I can take away this pain that's inside of you. And subconsciously, it's not like a necessary choice unless you're really keen. You say, okay. And then the being says, the whisper says, as long as you do what I say. And that feeling better, it's always negative. It's you casting your blame on someone else. It's you seeking for someone's demise because of they stand for something you don't stand for. It is just in general, throwing your fear onto others. Right? Having a bad time screaming at someone in traffic. From that, all the way to kind of the high echelons of it, where we're blaming people that committed some sort of heinous act, and we're acting like, oh, it's not part of mankind. This guy is fucking, he's a one-off, and he needs to be put to death, or whatever. You know, high and low. It is that what you do. It's that thing that, you know how everyone pretends like, oh man, if I was alive in Nazi Germany back then, I would never, nope, I wouldn't have done that. And you're like, yes you would, you're literally doing it right now with what's going on in this world. You know how people are like that? That's the whisper. It's telling them that it's okay. You're right. You're the good one. You're the best one. Your culture is the best culture. Your race is the best race. Your thoughts are the greatest thoughts. Whatever, I don't know. Some fucking negative aspect. Your car is the coolest looking car. I don't know. Just, you know what I'm saying? Highest part of fucked up society to the lowest individual. That is in which the whisper finds you. And that is how you pass the whisper. Because once it says, I will replace that which you feel a void in, it doesn't. It just synthesizes your fear and becomes it. And then when you're throwing it around, and you're tossing your bullshit on other people, it's in there and it attaches onto them. That's why I say it's like a virus. It's also like a virus in the sense of it's not malicious. It's just the embodiment of fear. In many senses, that is the true thought form or egregore of fear. And that is what we see amongst us over the entire world. It's rolling up on a situation that you're already terrified, and all of a sudden you've accidentally killed somebody, right? You know, if you're a cop or you're in the military or whatever. It's like that. Like you already rolled in with that fear. It was going to dominate you no matter what you did. That's a worst case scenario. Best case scenario is you're fucking rude to somebody in public because you think you're better than them. That's you at your dirtiest, but that is the lightest version of it. And the whisper is something, as I've been writing the books, it was always hard to nail it down. I think originally it began as like a prophet, not necessarily a soothsayer, but kind of a herald of the dark times. And I called it the whisper, and it was a woman, and she was very sweet, kind, compassionate, but she would kind of whisper the things you need, like an oracle in a sense. But it was for some dark purpose. I couldn't necessarily nail it down. And then as time went on, I realized the whisper is something evil, but it doesn't have a body. That's what I always thought. I was like, I like the idea of the whisper being the bad guy, but I don't understand how I can make this thing work. Because the more I kind of played with it, the more I realized the whisper can't really have a body. There's no point. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. It must be able to acquire one. And then I realized, because there was a point in which I thought maybe the whisper can materialize. If it finds enough consciousness, if it goes enough different people, maybe it can take all that and become a manifest form. Then I kind of, just walked away from that and thought, no, this is merely a thought form. And in many aspects, it is that which we call the devil. But the more I get on, the more I stop limiting myself to one ideal. I walked out of the Christian Abrahamic belief system because I was realizing it's too big. What it really feels like. It's much too big for one set of stories. There's too many people in the world to say that this one story is all that there ever was. Do you know what I mean? If that's the case, then why was everyone else alive outside of the Middle East, the modern Middle East? This doesn't make any fucking sense. So that's just one set of stories of Yahweh and his shit. But as I kind of got out of that mentality and I started looking out and I started looking at mythologies and from European to, that's really it. I mostly focus on European and a little bit of Middle Eastern, but that's really it. I started seeing a Gnostic truth to it. And I mean the true Gnosis, not Gnostic Christianity, which is very interesting, don't get me wrong. But I just kept thinking, because, you would say a demiurge. Maybe this whisper is a demiurge. Because I didn't want it to be the devil. I'm like, the devil is not what we think. It's not this simple fucking guy who's like a fallen angel and he's the opposite of all the beauty that God is because he makes himself a god and there's only one God. And like that's too limiting. That's too human to think that small. That's why I was like, there's no way the whisper is the devil. It's got to be something greater than that. And when I discovered the demiurge, I was like, that's very, very, very close. In fact, that's the closest I've heard so far when it comes to mythologies. So in some sense, yes, the demiurge and the whisper are very similar beings. If you need to put it in a box in your head. What's rather interesting is when it comes to the magnum opus that I'm working on, seeing how it's interwoven throughout the entire story. From the beginning where the Titans founded Euandra, all the way till 1647 when Eris is stepping out and going into the world himself. It's amazing how the Whisper is interwoven in that, man. In fact, Eris comes to, he confronts the Whisper unknowingly in book 2. It's amazing. Because the Whisper asks them, what is it you seek? And Eris says, answers. It's going to be really crazy where that'll go. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting to tell you about the Whisper and what it is to me. It's very, very interesting how the stories become from the Whisper's humble beginnings to now being this very elusive, malevolent, disembodied being. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It really is. And I really hope that I capture it well in the coming pages, in the coming work. But it's really hard to say. Not sure. Anyway, that's the Whisper in a nutshell. I love that the idea of someone that reads the title of this video is like, the Whisper? What is the Whisper? Just because you're coming at it like, someone whispering? What does that mean? It's just like deeper?